All right. I've got this telly with. She took a spill and cracked the lacquer. Some of the sparkle finish came off. So we're going to see what we can do about that. All right. I'm going to attempt to touch up little spots where some of the sparkles came off. I have this nail polish. It's got some gold glitter in it, but I'm thinking it'll work fine. Considering it, the sparkles change with the light. I don't know. We'll see. So let's try that out. Okay, so I dabbed some into the chip, really, to kind of darken it up, and I'm going to let that cure for a while. Then I will start wet sanding some of it, let that dry, hit it with some CA glue, some super thin CA glue, and hopefully just level that flat and polish it nice and clear. Stand by. Okay, here's where we're at. Dabbed some red sparkly nail polish into the gouge. That's cured up. I masked around it, used some quality Scotch tape, then masking tape on top. The Scotch tape really blocks out CA glue. Masking tape, the CA glue can kind of seep into it and get through. But this is just my double protection system. So you can see the gouge is still lower than the clear coat. So at this point, I think I'm going to start filling in with CA glue, let that cure, and then wet sand it flat. Just wanted to kind of give you an update where we're at. From far, it's already looking much better. So now I just kind of want to get it flat and a little less noticeable. So let's keep hacking away. One thing to note, I like to get a level and make sure the body is somewhat flat for that CA glue to kind of settle in a nice flat manner. You don't want it to just like start dripping down. And we go very small, like a drop at a time, see how it sits, add another drop. And same as the nail polish, I don't want to just pool it up. I'll put on some, like a thin layer of CA glue, let it cure. Throw on another layer, let it cure until I get to the height that I want. Even if it's just a little proud of a little higher than the existing clear coat, we'll work with it. All right. I'm actually going to use this stuff. I was going to go with some better, thinner stuff, but this is pretty thin and it has a little brush applicator, which I really like. So let's try this out. Here we are, trying to include you into things. So I like to put a piece of paper underneath whatever surface I'm working on in case I spill some glue. Dollar store stuff. Oh yeah, this is nice. I like it because it's pretty thin but has a little bit of viscosity. So yeah, you like brush it on and it kind of just settles into place. I like it. At least I think I like it. We'll see. This is a very common thing for people who are newer to repairs and stuff. Using CA glue to fill in like clear coat is a very common practice. So I think I'll let that cure. I kind of put a lot more than I wanted to, but yeah, we'll let that cure up and see where it's sitting. Okay, so it is the next day. It looks weird because I already started scraping it and forgot to turn on the camera. So basically, since it's already taped off, I'm just doing this to get the high spots riding flat on the tape, scraping away some of the high bubbly spots from filling in with CA glue. And as it gets lower, I'll remove the tape and tape off the blade. But we got a little ways to go, so I'll keep doing this. And you can see the high spots are, you know, the whitest. Everything that's getting touched by the blade turns white. So I'll do that for a bit and I'll get you in on the next step. Okay, so I got it, you know, as low as I could without, yeah, I don't know, as close to the tape as I could as far as flatness. So now I've taken a razor blade. I should have showed you on camera, but take a strip of Scotch tape, wrap it around the blade on one end, same on the other, and I mark where the tape stops on the blade, so you'll see there's Scotch tape on this blade, leaving the blade exposed in the middle, but you're basically making a super thin little guard that can glide on the guitar, not scratch it because of the tape, and it's basically the thinnest little barrier you can have on that blade. So now I can run it along the top of the guitar, keeping it perfectly perpendicular to the top of the guitar, and just scrape away the rest of the high stuff and bring it down to a very low level, because that Scotch tape is basically your only, I don't know how to put words together. I think you get it, though. I feel like you're understanding what's going on by that. Terrible explanation in this show and tell here. So again, I'm just working off the high spots of that CA glue that I globbed on there yesterday. You definitely want to make sure the glue is dry. This will not go well if you try to do this to a half-cured CA glue. So yeah, that's it. I'm gonna do this for a while until it feels pretty smooth and I'm not getting much like resistance and hitting bumps and stuff. My days of hitting bumps are over. All right, carry on. Okay, here's where we're at. Pretty filled in. Oh, I haven't even checked it with a straight edge, but because it's still bumpy. Oh, I didn't mark this blade, but I've put tape on one side. I like to mark where the tape ends or begins or whatever. Oh wow, one-handed everything. So, oh Jesus. So I'm just same thing. Just keeping the tape end flat on the finish and slowly scraping away high spots. So eventually it'll be somewhat flat. See, I think like I've still got a, oh my God, I still got a low spot here. Yeah, you can feel it a little bit. Some high and low spots. I might have to do some more filling, but I'm gonna get it, most of it more flat. I think this whole section I can get pretty flat, then I can address here. But it's, and there's a little bit of work to do on the side. So yeah, it's tedious process. No, that's not focusing. But it's gonna look better for sure. So yeah, once we have that all flat with CA glue, and I like how it's feeling and looking flatness wise, we start like wet sanding and just try to get this shiny. So that's where we're at. Carrying on. All right, I've grabbed some, I don't even know what grit this is. I just grabbed some pretty fine grit sandpaper. It's probably like 1,000. And I'm just touching it up just to kind of see where we're at. We're getting to a decent spot. Still a little bit of leveling to do. Lots of wet sanding, just going up in grits until it's nice and clear. So I could probably, man, it's hard to get some good focus on a sparkly clear coat. Anyways, it's getting decent. Just thought I'd show you. When you put water on it, it kind of shows you what it would look like fully clear. Not bad. Okay, we're getting places. Still not quite flat. Been working on the corner and the side. I just pretty much as light as I can hold it on there. I'm just scraping and following the contour. If you're not careful, you can cause quite a divot, which I already have from the chip. I didn't do the most perfect job for this freebie touch-up. And same here, like you feel the little bumps go away as you're scraping. It's a glorious day when those little bumps go away. So yeah, and I'll constantly check to make sure it's not too wonky and like dipping down. It's dipping in a little bit, but it was even after the super glue. But once that's fully touched up, it's going to be looking pretty good. This is feeling pretty flat almost all the way up to the edge. Lots of scraping involved. Then there's going to be lots of wet sanding. All right, the journey continues. Okay. We've got some more wet sanding happening. Right now I'm on 2,000, but I started at 600, went to 1,000, 1,500, 200. I did some dry sanding with 1,000 after I had already done the 6. And I'm going way past the area to hopefully kind of try to blend it in. And I'm only doing that once I'm getting to some pretty high grit wet sanding. Let's wipe this off. We're getting somewhere. It's never going to be perfect. But I mean, shit, look at that. There was a gouge there. It was a literal gouge. You can still see the outline, and I'm sure you still will. But it's getting way better, and we're not done. All right, moving on. Actually, I'm literally going to be doing this for a while. I did so much scraping. I could have went further with it. But the whole top feels really... Actually, there's one little low spot there. And nothing stops you from... Let's say you finish that, and there's a little low spot. Tape it off, hit up just that low spot with CA glue, and start the whole process. Scrape just that little tiny spot. Polish that tiny spot. But I had a huge... This is the biggest I've ever filled in. Like, I used a lot of CA glue in there. So that's why it's taking extra long. But it's going well. Okay. I am up to 12,000 on this micro mesh pad. Went from 2 to 5 to 7. And now I'm doing 12. And the higher I go, just the more I make sure it's wet. Actually, from the very beginning, I'm always making sure it's pretty soaked. So you're not digging into the finish as you're doing it. Yeah, I might call it at this point with the 12,000 and start buffing with polishing compound, which is the last step. But sorry about the shoddy camera work. This has been one for as I'm not even pointing at the guitar as I'm saying that, but it's been a pretty shitty one for camera stuff. But look at that, it's getting good. I think you can, in the light, I just caught that one little low spot in the light. But yeah, point is, we're really getting there. And half of that will be covered up by the pick guard. So, and right now it's dry. It's got a nice shine. It's a tiny, tiny bit, like you probably can't see in the camera. It's just a little bit, not milky, but like, it just needs a couple extra steps to get it as shiny as the original finish. And as I've been wet sanding, every grit that I go up, I'm kind of expanding the area. I'm going bigger and bigger, fanning out, so it hopefully blends in. But we're getting pretty good. That's looking a lot better. Carrying on. All right. Using this to buff. It was literally the closest thing I have in reach. And sure, it's just a buffing compound. I've done a little buff already. Original untouched finish, where it was buffed, because I ended up going like way over the spot I was repairing. So all this was kind of like hazy. It's looking pretty shiny, and I'm still got some more to do. But we're in way better shape than it was. And we're nearing the end for how far I'm willing to go on this. Spent a lot of time. I just wanted it to look better. It's a free touch-up, and yeah, here we are. All right. I think this is as far as I'm going on this one. Well, you know, I could still get those little marks out. You see tiny little scratches there. Yeah, just a little bit of polishing left to do, maybe a little wet sanding, but I wanted to get the pick guard on there, see how we're looking. And yeah, I mean, it's way better. That used to be a straight up gouge. All right. yeah, so I'm basically going to continue that process on the side there and call it a day. We're looking pretty good. It's much more presentable. And that's it. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Hope you learned some stuff and wasn't too painful, because I know I'm not the best producer of YouTube videos. So thanks for watching. Take care.